Okay, how you all doing today? Today we'll be talking about another unscripted edition, and my name still remains Okweoluwa. You may be wondering, I'm doing this in my car. If you're hearing any funny noise, it's probably people coming around or passing by. Okay, how we all doing today? And so basically today I'll be talking about something that um, I've been thinking about. And like I said, most of our unscripted are just my own thoughts and based on some of the things that are really, really, really happening around. So I put some of these are things I've been remunerating and some of the things that are happening around for quite some time, thinking about them specifically as they relate with real estate. I bring them to this. Okay, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So today we'll be looking at a very, very, very important topic. Is Japa. you know, most likely this is going to be a series, and but I would like to start with this unscripted dimension because these are just thoughts, and I always love to just put some of my thoughts together and just share them with us. Okay, so basically, Japa and abandoned properties are the things that I want to talk about. And so, what's the future? A lot of people own property, and all of a sudden they just park shops and leave. I mean, I have stories upon stories upon stories. For instance, there was someone of recent that I had um, that was relocating, and he had a store. He closed down the store somewhere in Bagada, and decided to give out all the things in the store. Okay, that's one. There's one that has a house, fashion house, a whole fashion house, and just called up one of the friends and said, "Say, I'm relocating. This fashion house, would you trust can manage it for me? All the people I've trained, they are nowhere to be found." And I mean, that's another story. In fact, there's one, um, very one of the prominent people in Nigeria owns a property, many properties, and one of the first set of indigenous companies that has indigenous textile company in Nigeria. And the man passed on. All the children schooled abroad, studied abroad, are in the abroad right now, and they did not come back home. None of the children. And one of the greatest regret the man had before dying was the fact that he did not force the children to come back home. He said because all the property he has now, in fact, that he's regretting. He started company, started organization, who is managing them. He thought he was going to hand over to these children to manage, and irony of it is that it's a foreigner that is managing one of the company. Imagine. Okay, one of these European countries. The guy is one of these European countries. You see, so some of these things happened, and it got me really, really, really thinking. And this was, I mean, what even breaks the camel for me was the fact that I saw an headline. My older sister is in her 50s, and she posted one of these our family WhatsApp group, a 1988 headline on how people are abandoning ship in Nigeria and traveling out. And the reasons, I mean, the writer talked about the reasons why people are leaving. And believe me not, it's the same reason why people are leaving Nigeria right now. Insecurity, the exchange rate. And I was just like wondering, I said, God, we've been roaming around this circle for a very, 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 very long time, right? So they are the same set of reasons, and it's still happening over and over and over and again. And the same set of, I mean, the countries are changing actually, but the same set of people are just leaving, middle class are leaving, and it keeps happening. It's amazing. It's amazing. So some, I mean, the several looking back at history, there have been several forms of jackpot, and for several reasons too as well. So okay, so this happening. And one other story that's quite pathetic that I heard of was someone around the Keja, and the person as at 1990s, late 90s, mid 90s, the guy owns several properties, and several, when I mean several properties. And as I'm talking to you today, it is a tenant of that is acting as the landlord, one of the tenants, as the one is the one collecting rent from other tenants. Because he was the oldest tenant of the man. When the man passed on, the children didn't even bother coming, you know. And these are realities that a whole lot of us don't give a thought about. If you are outside this country and you're watching this video, I know that probably the thought is flashing through your mind and all of those things. People are selling their property to get out. I mean, I've brokered a whole lot of deals, property deals, people just selling out and getting out, people selling and getting out, several. And if you ask why, I mean, they couldn't just see reason. And and if you're not, you are in Nigeria, probably you're under the pressure. Somebody gave me an advice of recent. I probably have just share. I mean, Pastor Solomon Ugulu give this advice, and it was, I mean, very, very, very thoughtful of him. He says, see, anybody, for you to not fall under the pressure of relocating, because the reason why a lot of people relocated was just the pressure. Friends have gone, your wife's friends are over there talking to you all the time, and they've planted thoughts, and these are mind, it absorbs vacuum. Thoughts can be planted in our mind, and you'll be nurturing things that are not even your dreams, aspiration, and purpose, right? He says, see, make your clique the clique of the people that are not planning to relocate. It's as simple as that. Talk to the people that believe in this country. Don't talk to the people that don't believe in this country. So why would you be talking to the people that don't believe in this country? Okay, so those are thoughts, right? Those are things that are happening. Those are realities, and property is not left out of this whole Japa thing. I mean, several property people just sell, leave, and sometimes you even think that's really, really that's where the problem is. But later on, you realize that there are some that are leaving, and some are buying property back home. And they are in their 70s and their 80s, and they are thinking, why am I buying property? Somebody shared this with someone very close to me. He said, with bitterness in heart, I mean, said if he dies today, he's going to be buried in America. And he said, that's one of my biggest regrets. He said, I'm living with it, with the realization I'm building a house, I'm thinking of selling it. Another person was sharing with someone else too. Said, I'm buying properties, I'm taking over, I'm doing this. But said, who am I doing it for? So because he's just thinking that these children are not coming back. And the reality don't dawn. I often advise people that if you want to relocate, don't talk to somebody that have gone in the last 5 years. No. Talk to people that relocated minimum 15, 20, 25 years ago. They'll be talking from a different perspective and different point of view entirely. Some regrets and all of those things. So if you really want to pick lessons, you pick lessons from those people, because they've seen life, they can compare life, they see the trajectory over and over again. So it's better to seek advice from those people, so that not because you don't want to go, but so that you can really plan and plan very well. And these are people that they look back and they just realize that, oh boy, a lot of things that are built back home are just bunch of waste. And that is the reality that a whole lot of property owners are facing right now. Okay, so like I said, this is unscripted. I'm just talking about owning properties. People are 30, 20 years ago, they've traveled, they've built properties. Some of them are even based in Nigeria. Their children are studied abroad, go to GRA, go to Ikoyi. A lot of owners of properties are not coming back home, and I begin to see a pattern. It has happened before. Some of those properties, even governments collected them back. I mean, look at, some of us probably know Yashamus, for instance. There are so many of their property that have been returned back to the government because ownership was not properly established. And some will just change their, I mean, I remember there was a particular case that the son of the driver started bearing the surname of the property owner. and he started selling properties because the driver knows most of those property, and the son, because of course, knows when the man died, the son showed the son, see, these are this man's property. Oh. It started as securing the property. That was the initial intention, but hardship came in, nobody owns this thing. They started selling the man's property. So these are things that are happening. Lawyers are cashing out on people's property. I mean, they're supposed to be, there have been cases where they were supposed to be the one to manage, they're just milking their clients, and these are reality. So one of the few things that I will just touch on, maybe on the part two, are some of the things that can be done. I scribbled some things down, but I just needed to share this and share people's story. And I'll round up with a particular one that's just happened, and it just got me thinking. A friend of mine lost the husband, the wife, lost the husband, and the husband is the only one in Nigeria all the family has left. The wife too, which is my friend, is the only one in Nigeria all the family too has left. And the lady is just so pathetic and alone. And these are things that happened because nobody's, I mean, they're living in a mansion, so lonely. And these are realities of things that happen. Yes, the country is difficult, but how do you manage your properties? And the way culture work, some people want to take over the property because they just feel that she's not. How can she be speaking when the man that is the husband is dead? They want to just take over the properties. If you go to the so if you look at the east, you realize that the phenomenon there is even much more complex. Most Easterners are naturally very glued to their owning property. They buy property a lot. People from southeast, they buy, for southeast, buy a lot of properties, and they travel out a lot too. The population of Nigerians from that region doing businesses outside, and they are very usually very successful outside the country. So they buy properties, they do a whole lot of stuff, and that in a way too, this most of their children don't always want to come back. Is for them is even beyond wanting to come back home and all of those things. For them is even doing the business that they want to do. Most of them are traders, but their guys are just mm, that are born outside the country don't want to take after their father and all of those things. And some of them have crossed married, so they are British Nigeria, Greek Nigerians, a whole lot of stuff like that. Okay, and most of these guys have one big mansion somewhere in Umolu or somewhere in somewhere in the east. There, one village that probably has only one school and two or three third road and all of that, and you see mansion and all of that. So these are just thoughts, like I said, in my head. I just decided to put together, and I hope it's the purpose of this unscripted is just to plant my thoughts in your head anyway. And I hope I've been able to do that. Give it a thought. I know some of you probably will have a family member, will have someone that is in this category. Okay, so just give it a thought, and I hope this helps. And I'll be doing part two, but the part two will be much more scripted, right? Something much more organized than this. These are just thoughts in my head. Okay, do have a great one. You can win. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot win. Okay, so play big so that you can win big. Bye for now.